everybody, this is Perch. Bad news. Well, I don't have bad news. I'm actually talking about bad news. I don't know. What should a comic channel be anyway? I mean, I do not. I'm not the kind of person who has a hate boner, who just wants to get on here and rage about how comics suck and everything else, because they don't. There's a lot of very good comics, old and new. And I think, but there's too many rules that are starting to crop up. There's just way too much. There's way too much, and I'm saying this from the standpoint of I try and mix things up to give everybody a little bit of something. But I want to come clean here with all of you. I'm not really making content with all of you in mind. Something interests me. Somebody asked me to talk about something, or I'm like, yeah, this is a comic I remember. That's cool. Let me try that. Or I'm like, how did I often have this, like, with the North Star reviews that I recently did, is like, my memory is that they handled him coming out really badly. Is that true? I wonder. So I dig through, I find the comic, and I do a video about that. And that's what I'm doing. I'm entertaining myself. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I'm very flattered at the people who have found this channel. I don't understand why I've got the subscribers I have, but people will mail me sometime like, hey, how'd you get all these subscribers? And I'm like, I have no idea, but yay. I think that I do this stuff because this is what's on my mind. This is what's entertaining me. And I mentioned this before, but there's always some new people coming to the channel. I record these things often in batches, and then eventually I take them off my phone. If you're hearing the car noise, like right now I'm in the car. It's a beautiful, like, not a cloud in the sky, Seattle day, almost 76 degrees in April. It's nuts. Eventually, the audio, the recording, will get off of my phone. It will get onto the computer. I'll put it into a video, and I'll upload it, and off it'll go. And sometimes I upload all the videos to YouTube like weeks in advance. About a couple weeks ago, I put up, I don't know, like 50 videos, and they're all just timed. The schedule was all there. What I did learn, by the way, and pro tip for all of you, if you do that, YouTube will downrank your videos. So they will recommend them less. They do not like you to think ahead. They do not like you to plan. So they will let you get away with it for like 2 days, but if you go like 5 days, they'll just start deprioritizing your videos, and then no notification goes out, and it's weird. Why do they do that? I have no idea, because they're jerks. Because they're jerks, that's why. But as I was talking about, one thing that I notice that becomes very tough is that if you're negative about something, then invariably somebody wants to let you know that your channel is too negative. And I get these emails like, your channel's too negative. You're talking negative all the time. And sometimes I'm like, I ignore it. And sometimes, like, hey, if you want a negative channel, here, you should try these guys out. Look for the ones that, like, use like fire in the background and put googly eyes on top of the people in their little thumbnails. Like that's a guaranteed you're getting some pissed off people there. Generally, I think my videos are fairly benign or boring, one of those. But hate filled. I mean, I don't know. There's definitely some comics I hate. I'll say it again. I think North Star coming out, the way they handle that in Alpha Flight 106 sucked. I mean, this idea that he's gonna come out of the closet in the middle of a fight with an aging superhero over a dead baby, like, no, thank you. No, that's a terrible idea for a comic. No. And by the way, just because I hate the way he came out, no, I have no problem with him being gay. I've no problem at all. This isn't a big, like, argument against gay characters. There are awesome gay characters. As I mentioned in the other video, Vertigo had tons. Midnight or Apollo are an awesome gay couple that is a great pair of gay characters all day long. I think that's great. Those characters, I'll ship them all day long. There you go, millennials. But I mean, different tastes, right? And I try to be respectful. If you happen to like comic book stories where superheroes, are come out of the closet in the middle of battle and scream, "I am gay," while they're flying over rooftops, then hey, more power to you. Alpha Flight 106, that's what you want. That's your hookup. But there's definitely plenty of things to be angry about. The challenge is there's too many rules. You like one of the, so I got a mail. One of the things that came out, I did the Wolverine Jungle Adventure review, and I did the Alpha Flight, both him coming out and his wedding. And I got this mail saying, "Oh, so you're one of these channels that talks about back issues. So you must be one of those hate people." And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we can't talk about back issues now. If you talk about back issues, you're wrong. And I was noticing after Scott Snyder did his tweet about comic stores are doing great, several people kind of chimed in with saying, well, the back issues are selling, not really the new issues. I mean, and by some people, I mean, like, I think Jimmy Palmiotti and comic creators said this, not just the lowly customers, but actual other writers and artists. And I see, I think it was to Jimmy. It may have been one of the other creators. Somebody came in with like the sideways eyes emoji. They're like, "Be careful, that's a hate group talking point that back issues are selling." That's like, well, what are you talking about? I mean, come on, come on. Are we really doing this? That there has to be this carefully constructed mechanism of what we can compliment and what we can insult, and if we don't follow the rules exactly, then we're going to crap on each other. I mean, who wants to be a part of that? Every time I get kind of a hint of that, my first impulse is to delete Twitter. And if I get a lot more of it, my second impulse is to delete YouTube. Like, I am not going to put up with that shit. I'm sorry. Anyone who's putting up with that is out of their minds. And the reality is, there are so many comic creators, writers, and artists and editors who mail me, DM me, everything else, who say, yeah, that annoys the hell out of me too. And that's why I deleted Twitter, or that's why I never visit anymore. Because it's like, I can't. I cannot put up with that crap. I'm not going to walk through this minefield of what I can compliment and what I can't compliment. And if I say I like Wolverine, but I don't like the Laura version of Wolverine, that I'm a terrible person. And by the way, it cuts both ways. I watched somebody who is regular fan viewer of this channel. I don't fan viewer. Let's say viewer. Fan is too strong a word. Talk about how they like Laura. Laura being the X-23 or Wolverine female version, and people dogpiled. It's like, oh, so you're an SJW, huh? You like SJW characters? Like, Jesus Christ, morons! What are you doing? What are you doing? It comics. The part that I find most laughable about the comics need to be inclusive narrative that gets tossed around a lot is that comics are, by their nature, they are inclusive. People are making stories, they're picking up, they're reading them. And if you open up the whole spectrum of new plus old, and you'd be insane not to. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of comic books out there. Are we supposed to, we're just going to exclude back issues? If it's more than 2 years old, we can't count it anymore. If it comes from Japan, we can't count it anymore. If it comes from Europe or France, we can't count it. That's dumb. Sorry, that is flatly dumb. Comics are all of these things. And guess what? When you look at comics as all of these things, amazing. I'm just, it's stuck in my head now. Magic. I keep doing that. It's that Kelly Sue DeConnick. Magic. I don't know why. She created a meme for herself. Magic. If I was smarter, now would be where I'd insert a little clip of her saying magic. Anyway, the amazing thing about all that content is, yeah, there's something in there for you. There is something in there for you. Now, that doesn't mean you should be able to complain about newer stuff or older stuff or whatever. Complain about whatever you want. It's a free country. But when people say, comics have to be inclusive, it's like, jackass, they are. They've been inclusive for decades. There is something for everyone in comics. In the early 90s, they were doing plenty of LGBTQ storylines in comics. They absolutely, creators, comics, characters, they were there. Now, if the argument is there wasn't enough, okay, that's something we can quantify and we can have an argument about it. But just we have to stop with this. You can only like certain things. If you don't like certain things, and you're bad. And if you do like other things, you're bad. Like, it's this sideways glance of the one that cracks me up, by the way, is and it cuts both ways, is manga. Now, why I find manga hilarious, where this whole little battle is concerned, is that manga has just a ludicrous amount of content types. There's manga about superheroes. There's manga about gay characters. There's a whole BL genre of manga. I mean, look it up. There's a lot. There's manga. There's a freaking story called Cheers, which is a manga about a cheerleading squad for a corporation. It's unclear what the corporation is doing. Like, are they playing sports, or does this corporation just have a cheerleading squad? And by the way, it's also porn, because these cheerleading people all do each other constantly in every story. So it's like, there, whatever you're into, manga's got you covered. It's there. And so it cracks me up to no end when when both sides, by the way, go, well, manga's hate content because it's just geared for white men. It's like, I don't know, the yoi, the BL genre might disagree with you just a tad there. There's whole series that have no humans at all and just animals. I mean, they're just there's plenty. And then the other end, the manga has no politics. I'm sorry. Yes, it absolutely does. You don't mean politics that way. You mean politics meaning the creators aren't being crazy a-holes and yelling at you. But bad news, if you're familiar with a product called Line, that's Line, Line, which is the social media equivalent of Twitter or Facebook over in Asia, Korea, and Japan. Bad news. Creators act like a-holes there too. You just can't see it because they're not writing it in English. It happens everywhere. The key here is, look, the takeaway. There's something for everyone. There absolutely is. Please don't start with this comics need to be inclusive bullshit. It is. Rather than try and make it something new, which it already is, we need to remove the barriers. Basically, if you removed a lot of the bitching around this whole topic, then people would just be able to find what they want. Maybe instead of complaining what somebody else is doing, maybe instead of complaining that, the people using Indiegogo are a bunch of Nazis, maybe instead you could point people to one of the many genres of comics that might be interesting to them, rather than go on a weird rant about how manga is hate content. You could point people to the really strong LGBTQ material for manga, because there is a lot of it. And you could just say, hey, here's some stuff for you. It's right over here. Different culture, different style, different writing. Go check it out. Maybe you could take a look at what's going on in France. Lots of content for all types of people coming out of France. It's all there. I don't know. Stuff is all stupid. I like I've said in the past, I always hate it, to use a more common term. I'm triggered when somebody wants to come in and kind of tell me what it is, what my opinion is. Whether it's like, Perch is a lefty who's always doing this and this. It's like, you have no idea what I am, who I am. Shut up. And the same thing with the other direction. It's like, well, Perch was doing a review of Walter Simonson and Michael Mignola's Wolverine Jungle Adventure, and so that means he's a Trump cultist. Because as we all know, Walter Simonson is a hardcore Reagan Republican, and Michael Mignola, I mean, he's QAnon founder, Michael Mignola, for sure. That's absolutely who those two guys are. Come on, people. If we stop making such a fuss about all this stuff, then I suspect we would discover that there's stuff out here we can enjoy. It's in the word. I've said it before. I know other reviewers said it. A friend of mine who I talk to in email constantly that would make everybody insane if they knew I was talking to this person. It's all performative. This is a performance. It's a show. It's a show, but it's a subtractive show. It's a show with no value. Like, nobody's getting anything out of this. It makes you feel good for the moment in Facebook, but no audience is growing, no new money's coming in, and in a lot of cases, perhaps really creative work is just going nowhere. It's dying because nobody's able to even find it, because we're spending too much time jerking each other off over performance outrage. It's just all stupid. Anyway, there you go. Got that off my chest. I'm going to go and review a bunch of other crazy stuff. How's that sound? If it's that, does it sound bad? Oh well, you, it's not for you. Magic. Okay, I promise I won't do that anymore. Thanks for listening.